Joined out in Oakland by Micheal Wilbon. First, let me apologize to my colleague Kevin Nagandi. I saw the 6 o'clock show, and having you follow Kobe Bryant was totally unfair. This is
not fair, Steve.
This is a much better situation. You're only following John Anderson. We're good here. How did the Warriors suffer their first loss in a playoff game at home after winning those 16 in a row tonight?
And after leading by 12 points to start the game and in the fourth quarter. I mean, you know, they remind me of the genius student that just sort of goofs around, you know, when things are going well. I've done well this semester. Let me just skip a couple of days of class. That's what the Warriors are. Steve Kerr, after a 12-0 lead, he must feel the same way. He called timeout when it was 12-2. I mean, Steph Curry comes over, throws the ball to Draymond Green. Draymond wasn't looking, and Steph just throws it to him casually. And Harden goes down. I think it was Harden, gets a layup, 12-2. And Steve Kerr called timeout. And he said afterward that he was disappointed because he knew the lead should have been stretched, and it wasn't. Same thing later in the second half, 12-point lead. And I always say it seems like they hear the sweet Georgia Brown music in their ears, and they just lose focus. They're just not there for a while. And this team will make them pay. Maybe San Antonio, without Kawhi Leonard last year after he got hurt in game 1 and they were down 25 here, San Antonio couldn't do anything about it. And Cleveland couldn't do enough about it. But, Houston won 65 games in the regular season, and Chris Paul particularly is determined to do something about that, take advantage of those lapses, and that's on the Warriors largely for blowing those leads tonight.
All 5 Warrior starters scored before the Rockets managed a single point, which was amazing. So give it to me straight here. When it's 12-zip, did you think that the Rockets had any chance? And second part of a 2-part question, when Steph gets that good look at the very end, did you think that was going in? Because I did.
I thought it might have gone in. I haven't seen the tape of it. Mike D'Antoni just sort of wondered in his post-game comments if it was late, if it was after the buzzer. Haven't seen it. You guys have probably replayed it a few times already. But, yeah, at 12-0, my first thought was, wow, Golden State could just win this in a blowout. Now, wait a minute. This is not the lead they need because they become disinterested. They really do. And we've seen this a few times over the years, and they're so talented, and they are so great when they are on it. But you know what? Houston, let me give them some credit now. They disrupted the Warriors. Yes, the rotation couldn't stay the same because Andre Iguodala is out with that knee injury. But Houston was up in them, even down 12-0. There were some good defensive possessions the Rockets had. And I really did think the Rockets could come back, and they came back fairly quickly. Remember, they were up 10. There was a 22-point turn in the first half. And that's when you know that the Rockets are serious about this. They understand who they're up against, and they know if they don't play this way. It's interesting. In the off day, Mike D'Antoni, right after Game 3, Mike D'Antoni called his team soft. And he talked about how they had to play with much more force. And they were listening. Steve Kerr also said, we're going to have to be ready for the force of nature that is the Houston Rockets, and I don't think his team was listening. And certainly Iguodala's absence hurts. They were dead tired. Draymond Green, I don't think, had a second of rest other than the timeouts in the second half, and he didn't have any legs to finish a dunk there at one point when 2 points makes all the difference in the world.
You speak of the 2 head coaches. We played the pressure game, right, leading into this game number 4 tonight. Kerr saying the pressure's on them, and D'Antoni said, no, the pressure's on them. Who's the pressure on now, Mike, with it Series 2-2 going back to Houston?
Both, just like it was tonight. It was great. I mean, D'Antoni created some theater. I don't think we associate that with Mike D'Antoni. We can go back in playoff history. We associate that with Chuck Daly and Phil Jackson and Pat Riley and other coaches. I thought that was a great thing where Mike D'Antoni was talking to his team through us, but to his team and saying, wait a minute, they got some pressure. Let's pressure them. The pressure's on both teams. Pressure's on both teams in every playoff game except perhaps if you're up 3-0. We know we've seen, the Oklahoma City Thunder up 3-1. They still have pressure on them and couldn't close out a couple of times. So I think the pressure's on both teams. I think Houston's in an advantageous position playing at home where they play so well in Game 5.
You like the Caps tomorrow night?
Steve.
No.
You sat with me during these games. Yeah. We're at the NBA, right? And we're watching the Caps and the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
I I really don't, but I'm rooting for them so hard. We're going to try to wipe out my negativity over the Capitals and all those Game 7s. A lot of them I covered. 7 losses in their playoff history. I must have been, right at the rink side for like 5 of them. I hope they do it this time.
You and Tony will be fun tomorrow. We'll see you later. Thanks, pal.
Thanks.
Remember game 1 of the regular season?
Yeah.
Rockets trailed by 13 going into the fourth quarter in Golden State at Oaktown, and they won. Chris Paul, James Harden put up 57 points tonight. The rest of the team combined for just 38. James Harden doesn't care. They're a team. Paul and Harden hit 8 three-pointers. Teammates made just 9 shots total. Players that were not those two pictured shot 9 of 31, including 4 of 17 from downtown. Again, some of that's irrelevant because, they won. Here is the play of the ball game. James Harden practicing taking contact with the basket stanchion, and then he did the same to Draymond Green. Wow! Second quarter, and we'll get the and one. Around Kevon Looney, right up in Draymond's chest. Landed on his beard. He's fine. This is how it sounded, ESPN Radio.
Harden has it up top. Harden with a drive. Harden dunks it with a left hand, and he's fouled. James Harden carrying the Rockets right back into game 4. Harden by 2 defenders to the rim, and he dunks it on Draymond Green, plus the foul. What an incredible play by James Harden.
I feel like Kesty was a little more measured than the Rockets guy in there, right? All right. Harden, how's that dunk stack up some other ones in the playoffs, right? Joel Embiid throws it down on Aaron Baines. That was strong second round, but that team ended up being a loser. Bucks Celtics, Giannis Antetokounmpo, again, he abused Baines. When we like the Greek Freak, first round, but then the Bucks would win the game, but they too would lead the series. This was done in the Western Conference Finals against the defending champs. Donovan Mitchell just followed his own shot right there. Impressive against Trevor Ariza, but more of a fundamental thing. Kids don't just run back on defense right away. Follow Jazz up and win that one 116-108. And then, of course, you do need some LeBron in there. See, now that was the Celtics giving him clear path. It was fancy and it was nice, but it was not the same as James Harden, left-handed. Oh, yeah.